You have to identify what your constraints are, what your pain points, and then you develop a business case for those projects, and then you present the profit and loss, the benefits, the cost of these projects, and then you are able to rank those projects and make sure that you have the prioritization of them to make sure that you are capable of offering a better service to this growing demand. So that's the main approach, is to make sure that you understand the pain points, the capacity constraints, and build your project portfolio to address those points.
Thanks, Marcelo. So, I mean, I hear a lot of incentives and things that could be done, but, you know, the question is always going to be, who's going to pay for it, you know? And I also think, what I'm also hearing is, how do we drive ancillary revenue into the airports? I'm talking ancillary revenue from the private sector. There's quite a lot of international organizations that want to tap into the resources. We ourselves, I mean, we could be commodities, right? Our eyeballs are commodities. People want us to understand what they're doing, what products or services they offer. And that leads me to you, Mr. Isen, is you're here representing the FAA, and right? How do we drive ancillary revenue to the airport? How can we support the growth? How can we support having enough funding, okay, to support those measures that the other gentlemen here are also looking at?
Yeah, thank you so much. In FAN, particularly in the Ministry of Aviation, headed by the minister and the management of FAN team, very desirable in creating enabling environment for business to flow into the federal airports of Nigeria, particularly in MRO and FBOs. We understand that as the aviation industry is growing, more aircrafts are coming into the Nigerian space. We really needed more MROs. Not more MROs, but MROs that are highly standard, that can help us maintain, repair, and overhaul the existing fleets that we have here. And by doing that, we will not only increase our revenue generation in FAN, but we also make the airlines businesses profitable, because when they have the facilities to maintain and repair their airlines in Nigeria, it saves them costs, it saves capital flight, and it brings in a lot of advantages like job creation. That is massive revenue generation for the whole country. It increases our GDP. FBO too, in the same way, because the FBOs are mainly for high-class passengers, and we have many of them here in Nigeria. We have many people that will be treated, like to be treated like VIPs that they are. They have the money to spend. So with our FBOs, which the management of FAN has been able to partner with many concessionaires, private entities, in terms of providing the land and the enabling environment for them to build these FBOs and MROs. Truly, FAN is geared towards robust investment that will create jobs and make airports of businesses profitable.
Thank you, Mr. Isen. All right, so just coming back to you now, Isaac. You did talk about lost opportunities, it's opportunity costs, okay, by having international airlines and a lot of it having to be done outside of Nigeria. Now, not because you don't necessarily have the expertise, but also because you don't have the approvals. Now, if I was British Airways, for example, I want to make sure that I have the EASA approvals if I was to do any major repairs or anything beyond the normal line maintenance out here. So my question to you, and I'm hoping it's the same question that the people in the audience have to you too, is what are you doing? What do you want to do? Like, what is that one thing that you want to do to get yourself across the line? That you're not just servicing the local market, but you're also servicing that international market, because aviation is international. So when they come in, they will lead those line maintenance activities, and sometimes you have those unscheduled maintenance tasks, you know, there's a damage, there's a bed strike, whatever it is. What are you looking to do to bridge that gap?
Okay, so currently in 7-star Global Hangar, because of the recognition and the acceptability of what the today NCAA has become, for example, Congo is bringing in 2 aircraft this December. For the first time, the CAA in Congo came all the way and they looked at what NCAA has done. They were quite satisfied, and now aircrafts and airlines from Congo can come into Lagos, into 7-star hangar for C checks and D checks. Now that is good. We are also being audited currently by other countries in Africa. If not because we are yet to include the ATR on our OPSPEC, we were to be audited by an operator in Portugal. They couldn't find a space to do their C check, and they wanted to bring it all the way to Nigeria, but we're trying to see how we can vary that currently. That means that the Civil Aviation Authority has done so much. The respect is there, and with time, we believe that EASA and FAA will even adopt what the NCA has. Middle East, in UK, and so on and so forth. So we will continue, and even before that happens, currently 7-star Global Hangar has already applied for the FAA certification as well. FAA has visited, and we're waiting for the second visit, and hopefully I think that will also take care of that part. Like I always say, at least we've done over 50 C checks under the supervision of the NCAA. 0 incidents, 0 accidents, and this job was done by at least 90% Nigerians. We have some few expatriates because, of course, aviation is actually global. So even when you go to UK, go to BA, you see people from Africa working there. So we have some few expatriates, but I can tell you that the local engineers, technicians, planners, workshop managers that we've been able to raise in the last couple of years are doing amazingly well. And we hope that local operators will believe in this country. We should believe in ourselves, and together we will actually build the sector.
Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate it. All right, so thank you. Let me go on to let me have a follow-on question. But as for you, Tim, remember we talked about shedding light on the innovative processes. Okay, trying to keep the airport operational while you do an upgrade, trying to keep the airport operational while you do an expansion. Now you talked about trying to resurface the runway, you talked about how to be able to have passenger control and also having airports that run 24/7. If you just in a few words can just talk about that, just so we can understand exactly what you have planned also for the development in Nigeria, we'll really appreciate that. Please.
Okay. Yeah, it's all about, back to this topic, is because airport industry is different with other industries. Airport is maintained daily operation. We cannot, no one can really take the risk on the airport or shut down one day. So one hand, you need to maintain your airport in the proper operation, but same time, you still need to upgrading them. And then this heavily related with a lot of safety issues and so on. This needs some kind of a special technique to managing the whole thing to under the no time period. You maintain airport in operation, but same times you do in parallel with the upgrade. So, for example, in Africa, it's most of the runway right now that we're starting this phase now. So, like a neighboring country like Liberia, currently in Burundi, all these runway maintain airport in operation and then give around 8 to 10 hours per day and to run to make the upgrading. So normally with a limited period, 3 to 6 months, upgrading is done. And then the airport operation, safety-wise, they were benefiting for airlines, for airport, for everybody. And then these were heading to develop, to taking off for the next decade.
Thank you, understood.
If I can add something about innovation, is that they say that necessity is the mother of innovation. So sometimes you get a fancy solution trying to find a problem for it. And the best way of doing this is the other way around. You have to understand what your flows are. Tim mentioned that you have to understand your operational flows, being the passenger flows, being the baggage flows, being the aircraft flows. And then you see what's not working, what can be improved in terms of operational KPIs or even revenue growth. But you have to look at the process, see if it's within the desired range. If it's not, then you have the major airport builders are now doing is exactly bringing this package of solutions after you understand the passenger flows, the baggage flows, and the aircraft flows. Otherwise, you are just buying solutions or spending money without understanding your real needs and your priorities. So,
Understood. But I'd like to say we already have the problem, the challenges are known to us. So I think it's more of going into a proactive state. I hear that you're talking about being proactive or being cautious about the spend or just getting all sorts of solutions without fully understanding the challenges, right?
as I said, money is always constrained, and you have to make sure that you're applying it where you need it the most. That's why it's so important to first build the business case. You have to understand what will be the cost of the initiative, what is going to bring as a benefit, either financial, operational, or market growth, or whatever. But you have to be able to present your data, your numbers, making sure that the business case makes sense. If it makes sense, then you have to invest. And then there is, financing is always a make or break deal. And you have to rely not only in government's budgets, because they are so constrained as well, but there are other opportunities. You can go for private sector partnerships. You can go for development banks, loans. So, I mean, if you have a strong business case, we will find the money. The problem is not the money, it's the weakness of the projects that are presented to them.
Understood. Thank you. Tim, go ahead. You got something else to add?
Yeah, enhance with Marcelo's speech on that one is again, right now, because the IT technology was so advanced right now, so how to apply into airport? I give example of Africa and then North America, Europe, or China. Because North America, Europe, or China, you know, the airport operation standard process was so heavy. They were enhanced for the last 20 years with big passenger volumes. So right now, for the new technology coming in, you need to change in the process. It's so hard, they cannot do that. So they have to add one more system to, let's say, to take the system to follow up with the existing process. But if you take the other way around, for example, in this continent, you define the new standard operation process, define the new passenger process, doing the expansion job and so on. You define the process together with the new system in, which means you define new operation process, shaping the technology, and then make the efficiency comes up. When this making efficiency, there are plenty of the investors will coming in to do this part. Just a little bit additional.
No, that's good. I really appreciate that, Tim. Thanks. Now, for you, Mr. Eisen, we're talking about being able to expand and upgrade the airports. And I mean, since we're on the topic of MROs and FBOs, I mean, are there plans? And I know the Honorable Minister mentioned that we got 2 organizations out here in Nigeria looking to expand to get like internationally renowned MRO off the ground. But the question there is the airport authority looking to have a designated area beyond what they have right now to expand to that level? Because if you're going to do provide MRO services on the international aircrafts, I mean, I'm talking about the bigger, slightly bigger aircraft, the A320s and 737s. We're going down to the 777s, the 787s. You're going to need a lot more space, right? And that goes to the challenges that Isaac was talking about. So are there any plans, I say in the short to mid-term, to have designated areas or provide some, some allocated land area to create hangar space, even if they might be temporary hangar space, to go beyond the line maintenance activities and be able to go on to like your A checks and B checks?
Yeah, thank you. Currently in FAN, we are digitizing our land system and also working very hard to produce the airport master plan. With Airport Master Plan and the way we are going about the digitization of our land assets, it will make it very, very easier to have designated areas in the airport land use plan for future expansions. And in terms of business operations continuity, you can see what is going on in the...
Thank you so much of your MRO to do.
You see, and to add to what he said, to be honest, FAN has done a lot already. I think most of the MROs and even the airline operators have lands for wide-body aircrafts. The issue is financing. For example, we've had land from FAN in 7-Star Global Hangar now for almost 4 years or so, but the financing is the issue. You're talking about an industry where over $1 billion is being spent annually to service aircraft overseas. But to get the financing locally, to build the MRO, the workshops, the landing gear, the avionics, the engine workshop, and so on and so forth, is not cheap, right? So that takes us back to, the drawing board, where there's need for the funding to actually come in. I mean, Nigeria is very, very viable. And I think investors should look at coming in to collaborate with so many MROs or even airlines locally so that we can build these capabilities. Today, Ethiopia, the MRO in ET is what it is today, not because Boeing, Rolls-Royce went in there to actually support. So today, with what the Minister of Aviation has done, creating an enabling environment in the sector, I think it's high time, for the vendors, the OEMs to come in and put something on ground, because we have the population and we also have the manpower. And with what we're doing now, I think we can actually expand on that.
All right, thank you, Isaac. And I'm just going to do one more round real quick, and I'm going to have you gentlemen just chip in as you like. But right after that, I'd like to throw an opportunity out to anyone in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. If you got any questions for all the child, it's a good thing, because I was in Dublin in February when we're talking to lessors. It was good to see some of the Nigerian delegates out in Dublin talking to the likes of AirCap and Avalon about what Nigeria is doing with regards to processes and our regulatory compliances. But if you had to change one thing, if you had to change one thing today, or if you had to contribute one thing today, what would that thing be? To improve the airport infrastructure, to improve aviation infrastructure, FEO and MRO in Nigeria today, what would that thing be? So we can start with you, Marcelo. You seem like you have it ready at the tip of your tongue.
Okay.
One thing.
Yeah. Well, definitely we know that airport is an economic engine. And even the Nigerian current administration has recognized this and brought it to the front of its economic policy. And we've seen here the drive for developing it, because it's a source of revenue, it's a source of family income, it's a source of jobs. So what could be changed to make it more efficient or more impactful? Good question.
We could push it up to Tim if you need a minute to think. So Tim, if you got anything?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, this is a pretty good, very difficult question. Let's say my personal view, the short term for the country itself, because for every sector, there are three things have to move in together. One is now the airport, one is the airlines, one is the authority, the regulators. So somehow, in Africa, most of the country need to drive in three all together. But if you take the short-term thing is now being the first priority, what I see here, there are enough travelers, air traveler now, but the country itself, the urgent one is the fleet, the aircraft. But again, this is a chicken egg thing. When fleet is coming in, they need to have a strong backup on the ground. The MRO definitely need to be a little bit earlier in advance. You see, this is not a single question. The short-termly, like the fleet, is one of the key things. And then as a long-term, I still believe is the human capital, the training resources, educating the young generation, the young people, the engineers, the pilots, and the cabin crews, the training to build up the, let's say, the foundation of the human capital for growth. So this is somehow there is a long-term thing have to be considered right now. Thank you.
I was struggling to answer
Yeah.
the question here just because when you talk about improvement and development, we are always focusing on infrastructure expansion and equipment and technology. And, well, this requires money, it requires planning, it requires... But the problem is, it's the collection of several other factors that would impact the development of the sector. It's not only just infrastructure and technology and equipment. Of course, they are so important, it's the basis for it. But you have to look into the regulatory framework, for example. You have to improve it. And also, again, Nigeria has done a wonderful job in its policy reforms and all the change that His Excellency, the Minister of Aviation, highlighted here, those main points and main fronts of work that they've been doing right now. Apart from regulatory framework, you also have the sustainability and environmental concerns that you have to take into account to develop the sector. Also, for example, skills, the soft skills and the preparation of the people who will be doing this. I mean, I don't really believe that you have one single thing that you need to change, but you have to have an overarching plan to make sure that the sector develops.
Understood. Look, thank you very much. You got anything else? We're going to close.
Easy access to soft loan with long-term maturity period for MRO and FBO concessionaires with Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. That will go a long way to strengthen and push MROs and FBOs to a higher level. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you, gentlemen. I know you're facing the challenges here on the ground and at 35,000 feet, trying to keep everyone flowing, keeping the airports operational, keeping the aircrafts flying, and just having minimum ground time. Thank you for your time. Thank you all. And, oh, sorry, well, I've got a question. Can we just take one? I give them my word, so can you just have one question from the audience? And microphone.
Please, do we have a microphone for the floor? Just one mic for one question, please, Mr. Moderator. So who would you appoint for the question? Did you see a hand go up first?
I don't know. Just, can you select anyone? Just give them a mic. Oh, sorry, you know, we don't have any ladies up here, so can you give the microphone to a lady at the back? Any lady at the back, please. Thank you.
Sound, please. Sound on the microphone, please. Please go ahead. Up there. All right.
Everyone here?
Hi everyone, my name is Fatima Badmos and I'm the founder of Dealer Signature. So we provide aircraft detailing for interior and exterior services. We also provide luxury concierge services and product for aircraft and signature. So my question is for Mr. Balami. And the question is, would FBOs be open to partnering with internationally certified luxury aircraft care to provide areas?
Yeah.
Celebrate them, appreciate them. We welcome, and as the minister comes forward and the CEO comes forward, we'll take this very quick shot. Please, sir. Please smile towards better things. We have on board FAAN, former governor of Kano State.
Thank you. Aerospace development, our own brother that. But since I had similar experience, I can appreciate and congratulate him for that. The Honorable congratulate him for that. At the same time, we have to congratulate Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for introducing various reforms, very important reforms in the aviation industry. We have to thank the organizers for this occasion. This occasion is so important, even though it is the first that it has taken aviation industry of Nigeria to the next level. Honorable Minister, we have to thank you for the development of infrastructural facilities. In particular, the infrastructural facilities in order to improve safety, security, and global competition in the aviation industry. Honorable Minister, I know basically for their own economic development, this interconnectivity in our air transportation, so that if you want to go to Dakar, you don't have to go to Paris and then come to N'Djamena and then go to Dakar and then go back and come here. We can easily develop our air transportation routes directly to the countries in Africa and in particular in West Africa. So ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for coming, we thank you for listening. Thank you and God bless.
Your Excellency, we appreciate you for your intervention. We thank you so much for sharing your words of encouragement, and of course for thanking all those who have been here in person. Thank you so much. Whilst he was speaking, a car key was brought to me. Just in case you're missing your car key, please come with a police report, proof of ownership, NIN, BVN, all the other details, your chassis number as well of the car, where exactly it was parked, photographs to show, so that we can hand over to you the car key. Of course, the model of the car and all the other details, let's know that it actually does belong to you. Thank you very much. Join me, receive for her goodwill message, the Honorable Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory, Dr. Maria Mahmood Bunkare, as she comes forward. Please warmly, very warmly receive her this afternoon.
The Honorable Minister of Aviation, Aerospace Development Barrister Festus Kiemu, CAN, CON. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Loki Ayeda Tiwa, FCA. Members of the National Assembly that are here present, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Dr. Yakubu Kofar Mata, the Chairman, Federal Aviation Authority of Nigeria, His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, OFR CON, Kadimul Islam, the Managing Director, Federal Aviation Authority of Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the well-established protocol because of time, but I acknowledge you all. I stand before you on behalf of the Federal Capital Territory Administration under the leadership of His Excellency Barrister Ezemo Yosumwike CON, Mr. Project. It gives me a great that signals our nation's bold entry into the global airspace conversation. First of all, let me commend the Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development and his entire team for the vision, dedication, and innovation that has made today possible. This air show is more than an exhibition of aircraft and technology. It is a demonstration of Nigeria's readiness to embrace the future of aviation, aerospace engineering, and modern mobility. It underscores President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to repositioning key sectors as engine of nation. Abuja stands as the gateway through which Nigeria connects with the world. Our infrastructure, policies, and strategic investments are designed to support industries just like aviation industry that demand safety, innovation, and reliability. We are therefore proud to host this inaugural global showcase at the Nnamdi International Airport. Ladies and gentlemen, today's gathering of airlines, aerospace companies, drone technology firms, maintenance and training institutions, and aviation specialists possibilities for collaboration and also technology transfer. For us in the FCT, this air show also highlights the opportunities for expanding aviation-linked business and sustainable aviation fuels as Nigeria pushes towards with villages a more efficient air transport system. Events like this help us to build capacity, deepen industry knowledge, and attract meaningful investment that support long-term national development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today marks the beginning of a new chapter for all of us. The Nigeria International Airshow is not just an event. It is a statement of intent, an affirmation that Nigeria is ready to soar higher, dream bigger, and collaborate boldly with the world. On behalf of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, I congratulate the organizers of this important program, the exhibitors and also delegates, and I encourage all participants to explore, to network, innovate, and take full advantage of this opportunity that is before us. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much.
That you're here as our landlord every year for the Global Entrepreneurship Festival, amongst many other festivals, and of course is a core beneficiary of an improved airspace. And the better the airspace, the more people come into Ondo State, Ondo to the world. Join me receive His Excellency, the Governor of Ondo State, His Excellency Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa, FCA, as he comes forward to share his message of goodwill with us at the Nigeria International Air Show. Are we still clapping?
Thank you. The very strict and disciplined airspace development. A governor, a former deputy governor, former governor, chairman of our great party, His Excellency Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje. I recognize you, sir. Let me also greet my sister, the Honorable Minister of State of Federal Capital Territory, the MD of FAN, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Aviation, and the founder CEO of Nigerian Aviation Air Show, all captains of industries, everyone, the stakeholders in the aviation industry, all pilots that are here, former and those who are still flying. At least I saw one old pilot here earlier on. Those who are trainers, participants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I say good afternoon to all of us. Let me start by thanking Mr. President for the various reforms that he has made in the economy that has further stimulated the economy and for its growth. And by extension, that has also affected positively the aviation industry. Today, you can see the cost of flight has gone up, but you can't even get a seat to book. Most of the time when you want to fly from Akure to Abuja or to Lagos, that tells you that there are a lot of money in circulation and businesses are thriving. I know some people might not subscribe to that, but that is the truth. Because people are moving, Nigerians, we are highly mobile, and we move from one location to the other. The road transportation is not even what a lot of people are flying anymore, but they prefer to go by air. And that is happening because it is safer now because of the regulatory oversight that is being provided by the ministry. So I want to thank Mr. President. I also want to thank my brother who has invited me here to be part of this. Two things. Number one, let me also thank Mr. President for the approval he has granted for one of the aviation college to be sited in my state, Akure, the state capital of Ondo State. And for the Honorable Minister also for making that presentation. Thank you so much. Let me say this, that by that move, we want to assure the ministry that we are going to partner with you and all other private investors that might be interested in that business, aviation business, especially in the area of human capital development, that will partner with you in developing that aviation college to international standard. I want to congratulate you for this great show. The entire leadership of the Ministry of Aviation under the Honorable Minister, the Federal Aviation Authority of Nigeria, the founder of and CEO of Nigeria Aviation Airshow, for this wonderful event, first of its kind in Nigeria, and this being the first edition. It's a success already because going through the exhibition stand and the other stakeholders that are present in this very edition, and what we have seen also, globally, even on CNN, it shows that this is a great success already. And I believe for those who are not here to attend this very one, by the time they will hear about what has happened, watch all the clips and the speakers, they will be looking forward to the next edition. You have by this brought Nigeria aviation to the global space, and the exhibition itself has helped us to further build confidence in our aviation industry. What we have done by this show is confidence building, quality assurance, safety we have seen. And I always say that Nigeria space is one of the safest in the world. All we just need is proper oversight regulation of the operators. And that is what this current administration is doing under the leadership of the Honorable Minister. No wonder our safety ranking has gone up because of the measures that have been put in place to have control, oversight regulation in the industry. So once again, I want to congratulate all of you that has come to be part of this. I congratulate the Honorable Minister. Thank you so much for coming, and God bless.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your partnership, your collaboration, your support toward taking the Nigeria aviation sector to the next level of professionalism, letting the world know we are ready for business. Distinguished guests, it is time for the second conversation of the day, where we will discuss promoting aviation safety and sustainability in the region. Leading this charge, I would like to welcome on stage the moderator of the panel. Please receive with me the President, Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association of Nigeria, Mr. Alex Nwuba. Please applaud him as he makes his way to stage. Dr. Alex Nwuba is a prominent figure in Nigeria's aviation and financial sectors. He served a tenure as CEO, Associated Airlines, where he saw operations and strategic initiatives to the next level. He also served as CEO for Africa Operations at Pale Water Advisory Group. Throughout his career, he has been a vocal advocate for progressive and viable aviation policies in Nigeria, and today he takes the same shape. Please appreciate him. Dr. Alex Nwuba is now here on stage. Welcome, sir. Join me, welcome the Director General and CEO, Nigeria's Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, Captain Chris Najomo, JP, CMW, DGCA, also known as Jolly Papa. He makes his way to stage. Popularly, we all knew him as Chief Pilot at Arik Air. He also served before as Managing Director, Capital Airlines, before his long career switching over to the regulatory side. He's now on stage. We say welcome to you, sir. Director General, Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau, Captain Alex Bade, is also joining up in this session. He's been here all day, waiting patiently to share his experiences with us. He has piloted major airlines across Nigeria, the United States. He's very well traveled. He has commenced reforming the NSIB by repositioning its policies, ideas, innovations to be world-class. He's now seated. Please appreciate his presence. COO Ibom Air, Mr. George Uriesi. I know he was seated here in front. Captain Ajomo, is he the one you're trying to get his attention? Spent over 30 years in aviation within Nigeria, South Africa, of course also served in the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, and today we appreciate his insights. Oh yes, I see him coming forward now. Please put your hands together for him as he makes his way to stage. Managing Director, Nigeria Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, Engineer Farouk, will join this conversation as well. Please receive him warmly as he makes his way to stage. His mandate has been modernizing the country's airspace, enhancing safety standards, and addressing power challenges amongst many others. His cross-continental experience gives him shape of ideas, and today he brings them to bear in this panel conversation. Welcome, sir. And finally, the CEO and founder, Flybird Aircraft Management Services Limited, Captain Borodo, is also joining up on this panel. He's coming. Please put your hands together for him as he does make his way to the front. Seasoned aviation professional, highly skilled air transport pilot licensed by the NCAA and FAA, holds multi-engine instrument ratings, and today we shall hear his insights into the conversation about safety in our airspaces, promoting aviation safety and sustainability in the region. Mr. Moderator, sir, I now hand over to you for the next 40 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. Good afternoon. We'll be talking really about promoting aviation safety and sustainability. Two key words, safety and sustainability. Before I begin my questions, let me share some very critical information with you. This is 100 years of aviation in Nigeria. The first aircraft officially, the word is officially, landed in Nigeria November 1, 1925. It was a flight that flew out of Egypt, piloted by Captain Cunningham, made the initial stop in Maiduguri, headed to Kano, and that was the destination. Since then, Nigerians talk about aviation safety consistently, but let me paint a picture for you. Since November 1, 1925, the amount of fatalities, that is, accidents that have resulted in death, have not killed more than 1,500 people. That speaks to the issue of safety as well as the sustainability. So Nigerians must never consider aviation unsafe. We must not consider, if you compare that data with daily accidents on the road, you begin to appreciate the general safety. And we have on this panel individuals that have been responsible for that safety in one manner or the other. The current DG is a pilot of many, many, many years. He brings that experience in the cockpit to managing the overall safety of the industry. Captain Uresi, George Uresi has been in the sector, and other members, Captain Borodo. So let us disabuse our minds of the concept of safety. Having done that, the question then becomes, how do we then sustain that into the future, into what we call the next 100 years of aviation? And that is where my questions are drawn from. I've had to prepare these questions in advance because they are all encompassing. So I will turn to Engineer Farouk first with my first question. Sir, what would you say is the most critical gap in safety system, SMS, implementation across African carriers and airports?
Thank you very much, moderator, for that very interesting question. Over the years in Africa, we've gone far really in developing and implementing safety management system. However, just like you asked, one of the critical gaps that we have in SMS implementation is lack of integrating SMS into our day-to-day operations. And that has been the gap, really. In Nama, for instance, we've implemented SMS as far back as 2003. And since then, we've also developed capacity in SMS, established a full-fledged department of safety management system in Nama. But across the continent, this lack of integrating SMS into our daily operations actually impedes our desire to develop a safety culture. Most often, safety is seen, SMS implementation is seen as a compliance requirement with regulations, without necessarily seeing it as a strategic framework to guide our operations, our policy formulation, and our operations governance generally. So this gap actually manifests in several ways. One of it is the fragmentation of policies among, the fragmentation of implementation among regulators, airport operators, and other service providers. So they don't, SMS implementation don't speak to each other. And that needs to be also corrected. Again, for you to have a robust SMS implementation, you must have a well-trained individuals as safety investigators, safety analysts, and so on. And that is also a bit of a challenge in the region. Again, for you to have a robust safety management system, you need to have quality data to be able to take an informed decision. But most often what we see is a reactive method of reacting to incidents or occurrences generally. So we need to move from reactive to become proactive, and from there we can develop to become predictive. So these are some of the challenges, and the gap is commitment by policymakers and management to entrench so that practitioners and staff can feel free to be able to report occurrences, and to have this non-punitive reporting system, the just culture to improve on our safety. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Basically, the bottom line is acculturization, making it a part of our daily human experience, which is what we spoke about. That takes me immediately to Captain Baroldo. Okay, sorry. Thank you, sir. So, yes. Sorry about that. So, basically, the problem has been building a platform of being a culture rather than...
Very good afternoon, Mr. DG and SIB and the countries, our bordering countries. Take, for example, permits, overflight permits. If I were to operate a flight now to Accra, it would probably take me at least 24 hours to get permits to overfly Togo or Cotonou, Togo or Benin Republic. And then, so this also affects the routing of the flight. It makes some of the flight distance to be longer than necessary, which also contributes to the carbon emission challenges we're facing globally. So if in areas of navigation, I think there are rooms for improvement, especially the navigational aspect, where we can get direct routings, and the airspace should become, the African airspace should become accessible to all African operators without much restrictions, and so that would save a lot for operators. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me come to Captain Badi, Jr. Are there any existing local or international models of aviation safety and sustainability that the region could learn from or adapt to?
Yes, definitely. There are several models, and we can do that without reinventing the wheel. We start globally with ICAO, particularly, again, when it comes to safety, the Annex 13 for accident investigations, and Annex 19 with the state safety program. All these focus on independence, just culture, and data-driven safety. So globally, we can adopt that here in Nigeria, which we're already doing anyway, between the NCA, the NSIB, and just the whole aviation ecosystem. You come to the region of Africa, now you have Bagaya, we have AFCAX, AFI Safety Plan, which is the comprehensive regional implementation all around here. And then we have Bagaya, which is the Banjul Accident Group, Banjul Accord Group Accident Investigation Agency. Of course, it's still fairly young or not properly funded, but again, regionally, we can do that to fund for international aviation, which we could use here in Nigeria using sustainability side in West Africa. Well, in Nigeria and then West Africa as a whole. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Turning to you, George.
Thank you, Doc. The issues of balancing safety, and in this instance, I would say that in the case of Nigeria today, over the years, from the period when there were accidents, I think the airlines have learned, or anybody, you already have a heightened sense of operating safely. On the other hand, as an airline leader, the challenges every day are such that you could breathe or to operate. And that's where the NCAA comes in Nigeria. It applies just enough pressure on everyone. I always say to myself, and that's why I feel very safe to fly on any airline, that if the pressure we get from the CAA is applied to everybody else, then everybody else is definitely safe because, so I think we've gotten to that point globally and then in Nigeria also, that no matter the pressures you're under, don't mess around with complying with safety regulations, because when you comply with safety regulations, you fly safely. And as long as we're all complying and flying safely, because of commerce to affect their ability to fly with the regulation, wanting to conundrum for airlines and for practitioners in the industry, private ones, flying schools, general aviation areas. Those are the areas that we need to look at because they are the ones that have less pressure than airlines to operate safely. And therefore, that's where we need to look at. And I know that recently the NCAA has been always looking at that private jet area, how they are flying, what they are doing, how they are licensed. Are people flying what they shouldn't be flying versus the licenses they have? But the results is what matters, and the results for Nigeria so far, over the last few years, the results have been stellar. And that's why I was saying recently that I do not agree with the insurers. Why do they penalize us when we're operating as safely as the other people they insure for less than they insure us? Why are they penalizing us? Because I know that we now, without hesitation, because I know that the pressure that they give to us is the pressure that they have, and everybody is compliant.
Thank you. Basically, you made the point that this is an industry of no compromise. And it is better in the Nigerian aviation industry to be compliant because the hammer that the NCAA comes with is much worse than doing the right thing. It doesn't come to you nicely. They come with a sledgehammer and apply it to you, and which they've done time and time. That brings me directly to the DG of the NCAA. Mr. Director General, what innovative technologies or operational strategies could most realistically transform both safety performance and environmental impact for regional operators over the next decade?
Thank you, Alex. Before I answer the question, let me go back to George. There's nothing like postponing any safety. I will come after you. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know that the CA is bound to make every move for our surveillance. We do this surveillance every now and then. As I speak now, and as you're seated here, my inspectors are on ground. I'm checking all the airlines. So I'm just trying to let you know that the airlines are safe, the airspace is safe, and so you're safe. Back to your question. I can say for me it's 3 items. What we are doing is relatively maintenance instead of doing predictive maintenance. I expect that the airlines should cross-check, monitor their engine runs, monitor their temperature trends, so that they're able to capture anything before it gets worse than repairing it when it fails. Secondly, about fixed-base navigation is what we need to be able to help, of course, the air traffic controllers predict more, tell us more on how to fly these airplanes. So when this fixed-base navigation helps, of course, helps the pilots into not flying into CFITs and what you have. Then the third and final one is what I'm going to hammer on. I flew for 45 years, and in these 45 years, I flew what we call the old school, and I flew the new gen aircraft. When I was in Okada, I was flying the Back 111. We used to call it Smoky Joe, because those aircrafts will fly and smoke all over, causing emission, all over the place. But then, when I flew in Arik, I flew the next generation airplane, the 737 next generation airplane. You know, so it's important that right now we advise airlines to see if they can do some fleet replacement. It's not easy, but they should do this fleet replacement. It will, of course, reduce on the airplane. So these are the three key factors. I say it's predictive maintenance that we must continue doing, fixed-base navigation, and of course, replacement of air fleets to be able to, go around what the moderator just asked. Thank you.
DG, let me just add for you, as you know, which the audience wouldn't know, in the past, engineers went on board to figure out what the problems were. Today, technology is figuring it out even before by trend analysis. So even before an airline, even before the staff know what's going on with the airplane, it's in a position to tell them, if you look at this trend, this is what's likely to happen, which continues to improve the essential safety process. And then with your men on the ground, there's no room for mistake. That is why we continue to maintain one of the safest skies in the world, and why people should have the confidence, even more than they do in the United States, that Nigerian airspace, we don't want an accident. Because when we have one, it's very embarrassing. They have one every week, and nobody is embarrassed by that. So for us, and I think for the audience, it's important to know that safety. But then at the end of the day, it always falls to Alex Bade to figure out the problems that have occurred when they do occur. So that brings me to the next question for you, Captain Bade. How can Nigeria harmonize safety and sustainability regulations within ECOWAS and ICAO standards?
I mean, first thing, harmonization is a living process. It's continuous. It's not just about documents. And I think for us in Nigeria, I believe forces and all that notwithstanding, and our limitations. So it's trying to adapt that here. Easiest way for me, I would say, is fully embedding ICAO SARPs, which are standards and recommended processes. So major ones, Annex 13, accident investigation, Annex 14, aerodrome, 16 for environmental impact, and then 19, safety program. And if we can make that law here, not just the ICAO thing, but the Nigerian thing, that's the first thing for us here. If we do that here locally, we can lead, the region. Then if you use ECOWAS and AFCAC, the African Civil Aviation Commission, to drive a unified safety management system, for the region, we share our oversight metrics with other accident investigative bodies, and the CAA does that as well. Joint training and investigator pools, which we already do with Bagaya at the NSIB, and again, the civil aviation with BAG. Then you talk about sustainability. So again, back to the carbon offsets and stuff and all that. Again, has to be with our current realities in Nigeria. Then you build capacity across the region. We're doing that at NSIB again with our workshops and all that, just getting everybody in here. I think Nigeria can lead that way. But again, we must bear in mind that it has to be a local solution, not just a global solution. So it's taking that and just making it work with our realities here in Nigeria.
That's good, but I think Bagoso would go a long way to that.
Yeah.
It's quite delayed in the process.
Yeah. Well, I think I use the term BAG, and I always refer to Jolly Papa because they are the daddies of Bagasso here. They're the Daddy Warbucks. They fund BAG, they host them, and all the other, we're leading. Everybody follows as they all do in the region.
That's why we're the giant of Africa.
Yes.
Engineer Farouk, what small practical steps can regional airlines begin adopting today to improve both safety and sustainability simultaneously?
Thank you, moderator. Let me just go. I'm actually representing Engineer Farouk, who is the MD of NAMA.
Right,
yes. Safety and sustainability simultaneously. I think, first of all, there is a misconception that safety and sustainability are seen as different agendas. But in reality, they actually reinforces each other. And there are so many low-cost, high-impact steps that regional airlines perhaps can adopt to ensure smart operations, and then sustainable operations too. One of it is to improve or strengthen fatigue risk management and crew scheduling, improve on rostering, crew scheduling will always improve safety. In addition, adoption of preventive maintenance, just like the DGNC has said, because a well-maintained aircraft emits less pollutants. And we can take simple, practical steps as checking the tires, for instance, cleaning the airframe. These are simple steps that airlines can take to ensure that they operate smartly. And definitely, as I said, when we do that, airlines will operate smartly and also reduce pollutions through the emission of carbon dioxide. But in addition also, there are so many other fuel-efficient practices that airlines can also adopt. One of these is to prepare the aircraft on time, adopt continuous descent operations and continuous climb operations, CDs, CCOs, and CDOs. They can also fly the through route airspace. And in Nigeria, for instance, we have, in most of our visit terminals, we have actually incorporated the CCOs and CDOs into our seats and stars so that airlines can take advantage of that. And can also fly the PBN, which we have implemented in almost all the airports, including not only the federal operated airports, but also state and private airports as well. Some, even, I don't want to say airstrip, but yes, we do have PBN procedures. So these are simple methods that airlines can adopt to improve on their operations. In addition, data sharing is also very important among the various agencies through a collaborative decision making. That will enable a collaborative decision making so that the right decision will be taken at the right time. In addition, airlines should also encourage voluntary reporting of occurrences. And I agree, this is what the DGNC, NSI will always love, voluntary reporting of occurrences. And once that information is obtained, we will have quality data that we can be able to take an informed decision, and that would also improve on the airline's operation to ensure sustainability, particularly to reduce emissions by airlines when they fly smartly. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you spoke very well about it. I asked about airlines and airports, and I just turned to the MD of Ibom Air to ask a question which is important for the audience. If you look at your international tickets, you see the amount of CO2 saved. That is a sustainability effort by you as well. And as the DG said, if we improve on the quality of the aircrafts that we have, we result in saving CO2 by aircraft, which can then be broken down to the passenger level. We talk about the high cost of airfares, but the reality is that if we begin to also think about it in the proper manner for the point of sustainability, that carbon dioxide saved is money saved. Because if we can tokenize those values in terms of sustainability, that's money that consumers can put back in their pockets, basically. With that, I turn to Captain Borodo. What cybersecurity threats threaten systems, and how can we address those regionally? Do you know the specific threats that the industry faces?
Okay, sorry, I'm not an IT person. I don't know why I'm being asked about cybersecurity, but I believe it's the same thing every business faces. You know, the issue of cybersecurity is real. In terms of in the aviation industry, I know the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has been doing something with the National Security Advisor to to protect the airlines from cyber attacks and all that stuff. What we do, we're in private aviation. We don't sell tickets. We have our own internal systems that we protect, our own network and all that stuff.
You run computer systems, you're talking to remote systems across remote stations, you're talking from the ground to the aircraft, and all of those things. And as an organization, I'm sure those are areas of concerns, and these are areas you've possibly mitigated against.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've invested a lot in IT security internally in our company, and yeah.
Very good. Captain, I always call you captain because in aviation we call everybody captain. So you've earned the title of captain. You know, as a private pilot, one of the things I did was I made sure I had 4 stripes on my epaulets because I flew on the left seat of my Cessna. It didn't have to be a 747. I'm sure that Jolly Papa, even as a student pilot, flew his full epaulets until he had to take them off again when he went into the commercial aviation space. You know, it was just 25 years ago that we were preparing for the year 2000. And as young men then, because it's obviously more than 25 years, it looked like such a long time. Now I'm asking you about 2030. To most people, when we talk about 2030, it's like, oh, in the future. But 2030 will be upon us before we know it. So what measurable targets do you think that we should, in Africa, make a global benchmark for safe and sustainable aviation?
Okay, thank you.
You see how captain can confuse when you call people captain. 2030 is very near. It's next tomorrow. So it's not far away. But I think that what we should look at is, first of all, the most important measure will be no hull loss accident from an airline, all the way to 2030 and beyond. I think that's achievable not just in Nigeria but in Africa, because we are no longer pulling people to become safe. The pull itself now, people are pulling themselves because everybody now knows that an accident is one too many. And so everybody is doing everything possible to be safe in their operations. But the second thing, and this is the most important thing I want to highlight today, is that we need to see significant increases in passenger numbers, air passenger numbers in Africa. And the governments of African countries have to start to realize that aviation is a trigger. It's a leading indicator. If there's more passengers coming, it means there's more commerce, there's more economic activity. So we can't look at aviation and say, let's punish it with all sorts of taxes and fees to make it harder for people to access air travel. It's too expensive traveling around Africa. It's damn too expensive. And the reason for that is the taxes and fees that are charged first and foremost before you, the airline, even puts your own operating costs on it and then try to make some money out of it. And that's why the growth is very slow. Because we have the population, we have the distances. Africa is the largest continent by far. Forget about what they show you on the map. It's very, very large. And we have to fly, but we're not. We're the only remaining continent that has a lot of growth to do in air travel. But pricing is not allowing our people to fly. If every government decides, let's put their money where their mouth is. We are doing remind me now, African continental free trade area. Let's put money behind it. Let's reduce the way we are taxing people now. Let people fly around the continent so that airlines can charge money that people can pay. We are trying to cover the costs of fees and charges before we charge our own small, tiny fare on top of it. And even then, it's now way above the amount of money that the average African can pay. So 1.4 billion people or 1.3 billion people our flight activity is zilch comparatively. So the growth is huge. Let's see two measures. Flying is safe, but let more people, plenty more people, double, triple, quadruple, fly. If I see that in 2030, sharp, Africa is doing well.
Let me elaborate a little bit more with some real data, which you could have given. The first thing he says is by 2030, no accidents, which means we're all safe to fly. We are safe to fly. There should be no accidents. The second one is more important. You hear it said here and said everywhere. We have 200 million people, so we are a large market. But let's look at it realistically. The US has 300 million people, but the total number of flights is 600 million, which means the 300 million people in the US fly at least 2 times a year. Critical dates. Europe has 300 million people, sir, and they fly 400 million flights a year. So that is almost 1.5 trips per person. Then when you come to Nigeria's data, we always push our 200 million people number forward. But the percentage of people that fly is 0.02, 15 million people. So while that it provides a lot of headroom for opportunity, the market is larger, yes, it can be, but we have constrained it by the way we have designed our industry. I said in a recent publication, sir, in support of your argument, if you look at your airfare, if you look at your ticket, you will see the fare, 14,000 naira. You will see taxes and charges, 78,000 naira. How does that help the system? Until we fly more, there isn't more money coming into the system. And it's like that system of very few people are paying taxes, so those ones pay the most taxes. But if we allow the industry to expand, a lot more people will be paying less, and the industry will grow, everything will grow, the economy, commerce, and all of that. So it is a call on the government. Like the minister said, I took him on last time. I'm taking the government on again, that we should lower taxes so that more people can fly. With that said, the DG is not the government. He ensures safety. So his question will not center around that tax issue, sir. The question is, what sustainable KPIs are to be embedded in safety audits? And yes, if yes, which ones are to be embedded into safety audits, sir?
Thank you, Alex. Before I go back, let me go back to that question you stated about government. Taxes. I was in Dominican Republic on ICANN, and we sat down in a conference like this talking about sustainability.